I love that song so much for some reason.
It's a whole vibe. It's definitely
It
a whole
really
vibe.
is.
Oh, but this week we're diving into brand new Ironheart suit reveals, the Punisher's return, and Daredevil, as well as Ms. Marvel making an appearance possibly to recruit another young Avenger. Plus, we've got DC casting updates, wild movie announcements, game releases, and con news you do not want to miss. Let's get into it. Hey.
Hello. Welcome to episode 33.
And we are live.
I am in a whole mood today, so I'm sorry
Yeah,
for y'all in
yeah,
advance. Like
me
it's
too.
it's a thing.
Well, shoot, I don't know. I've gotten good sleep. I'm super hyped on stuff we've been watching, and I don't know. It just is a great day. It feels good. So
I think it's also because we're about to see each other again, like
this is
in
true.
just
I
a
didn't think about
couple of
this.
days.
Get to
Yeah,
finally
like in
reunite after shoot a few months.
November? Was it November?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
think
was
so.
beginning of November. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you ready to kick us off with some Marvel?
Let's go.
All
You know,
right.
Marvel, we've had some like really great things happening
Yes.
with Marvel with like, we had Spider-Man, we have like Daredevil going on right now, but something that's kind of coming up relatively soon is some Ironheart.
Finally.
So yeah, we finally got some still photos of Riri Williams in her suit, and I absolutely love these.
Yeah, we got 4 of
I'm
them.
Yeah, I'm excited. Uh I love Riri. Like she's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And to know that this is coming in June, just like a couple of months away, June 24th, I can't wait to see really like how many episodes we get because I don't think we have a definite amount of episodes yet.
No,
As well as run times, we don't really have that yet.
and I'm curious how this is going to hit with the audience too, because this was filmed so long ago, and there's been so many changes and things. Uh, I'm really hoping this hits good. I it needs to hit good. Because man, I don't know. I love the new suit to how it looks compared to what it
Mm.
looked from Wakanda Forever. Because it wasn't bad in Wakanda Forever. It definitely reminded me of a Power Ranger amped up. But this suit to me looks way better. So I love the new suit design. So.
Yeah,
But this comes out in
yeah, no,
June, right?
yeah, June 24th. So, I mean, really, what is that, like 3 months away?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
And this is
August
like
might
one
be.
of the is it one of 6 Disney Plus series we're getting this year? So, yeah.
Or would you count it as 3 of 6? Because it's the third one. It's
Oh, yeah, I guess,
halfway.
yeah. Well,
It's our halfway mark.
yeah,
I
it
don't
would
know.
be I don't know. But, I don't know. I have high hopes for it. I hope it's good. Hope the things that they change and the things they've reshot make sense and they flow pretty decent. I mean, things that's been reshot and flowed decently, I feel like, like they did with Daredevil, has worked out so far. So I think
Hmm.
Marvel's on like a pretty good track of recouping from what they've done in the past on reshooting.
Yeah, so we had like, the Captain America where we had those reshoots, and sometimes it didn't
Mhm.
really like fit in the puzzle piece as well. It was
Right.
still a good movie, but it's not fitting as much as it's fitting with Daredevil. So I don't know. I don't have like high expectations. I'm just
Yeah, same.
excited for it. I'm just excited to see what they do with it because it's a Marvel project and we know how I am with Marvel.
Right. And I think this was shot like 3 years ago. They
Damn,
finished shooting 3 years ago on the
damn.
original scale. So yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be interesting for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But speaking of shows that we got going on right now, we got Daredevil. You ready to
Please.
talk about some Daredevil?
Yes.
Let's finally talk about it because we've
Do
been
not
like
let it end.
waiting.
I'll do a real quick recap over this episode, then we'll
Go
dive
for it.
into our questions and thoughts. So this episode opens with Matt Murdock at the morgue, reflecting on the tragic death of Hector Ayala, the vigilante known as White Tiger. He encounters Hector's niece, Angela de Toro, who is devastated and suspects the police involvement in her uncle's death. Matt consoles her, promising that justice will be served. Later, Matt takes on the case of Leroy Bradford, a man arrested for stealing snacks. Despite securing a reduced sentence, Leroy expresses his frustration with the system's solitical nature in highlighting how minor infractions lead to disproportionate consequences. This interaction underscores the systematic failures affecting marginalized individuals. Meanwhile, Mayor Wilson Fisk grapples with both political challenges and personal issues. His plan to revitalize the Red Hook, port faces bureaucratic hurdles, and elite proposal labels him as anti-union, causing public backlash. The leak is traced back to his aide, Daniel Blake, who, despite his mistake, displays unwavering loyalty. Pressed by Fisk, decides to retrain him and give him another chance. On the personal front, Fisk and his wife Vanessa attend therapy sessions where it's revealed that Vanessa had an affair during Fisk's absence. Although Fisk claims to have merely had dialogue with her lover Adam, it's later revealed that Fisk has imprisoned Adam, showcasing his ruthless nature. Mass investigation into Hector's death also leads them to a bullet chasing the burying the Punisher symbol, who he confronts Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, who dismisses involvement but criticizes Matt and goes to give him a little bit of crap, a little bit of heat about, how he took upon the death of Foggy Nelson. And this confrontation forces Matt to confront his own principles and the effectiveness of his methods. This episode concludes with the introduction of a new antagonist, Muse, a masked artist who uses human blood for his grotesque creations. So, Frank is back. And man, this scene, woo, the scene with them is wild. I mean, it's
Did
heavy.
did you have like okay, so when Frank was saying like what's his name? Like say his name. Did you not have like Deadpool like what's my name, Francis? Like vibes like during that time like while you were watching it or was it just me?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I didn't even
Okay.
think about that, but now you say that, I'm probably going to think of that the whole time. Have you seen Francis?
He said, "What's his name?" And he kept on saying, like, "What's his name?" Um, and or I guess it wasn't. It was also "Say My Name." The Thunder Fist, the Fire Fist kid from Deadpool
Oh,
2 as well.
did he?
Yeah, he was like he kept on saying like "Say my name" or something like that. Um, but that was
Uh,
Deadpool 2. I don't know
yeah,
if you
that
remember,
was
but
Deadpool too. Yeah.
yeah, so both Deadpool movies just like reminded me of like the scene, but I guess like
Well, it may have made the
number
scene not
two
so
more
heavy
than.
for you if you thought about it that way.
Yeah, it didn't. But like at the same time, like it was touching and it was like
Yeah,
oh like it was heartfelt because like Frank was standing there and he was just like, dude, you didn't come to me for this bullet because you knew this bullet wasn't mine.
right.
Um, And he's just like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, maybe you're
Probably came to
right.
me for
And
permission.
yeah, and he said that you came to me for permission so you can start beating people up because like this this bullseye is breathing the same air
Mm.
as you. And he's like, and that's when like Daredevil finally, like Matt finally snapped and was like, he got life. And he's like, yeah, but like, did Foggy get life? And I was like,
Oh yeah.
damn.
Yeah, it was pretty heavy. It was great too, like, as he's walking into, the room, that the OG Daredevil music starts playing, and, like, it just really builds up the moment too.
hmm
But then, like, him calling him Red, oh, I love that. That'll never get old. But, yeah, I'm wondering too, like, where Brad Winterbaum's talked about, I think it's Brad Winterbaum, or maybe it's someone else we talked about. Maybe it's Peter, but when he was in an interview, but they're talking about Foggy was going to be in season 2, and he kind
Yeah.
of talked, to him about how, do you hear his voice? Like I hear my son's voice. And I
hmm
wonder if they're going to make him start seeing and having conversations with the spirit of Foggy type, more of like an in
Yeah.
his head, but visual thing.
hmm
Or is it still leading to, is Foggy not really dead? What do you think on that?
I think that we're kind of getting into the era of people talking to other people like as their mentor, kind of like backline type thing.
Hmm.
So I want to say that Foggy is actually dead and he's talking to his ghost, like
Sure.
how Billy and Agatha are talking. Um,
Well, Agatha
so
truly is a ghost,
well, I
like
I
a
know,
legit
but I
ghost.
mean,
I
well,
think.
yeah, but I mean at the same time, like I think that's it's not that Foggy's an actual ghost, but I want to say that he's his voice in his head, his mentor, his
Mhm.
line of right and wrong that
Right.
he's
Kinda like
talking
that
to.
angel on the shoulder, devil on the shoulder type thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I am curious too, like, speaking of, the bullet casing with the Punisher skull and stuff, like, when he approached that officer, he, like, listened to his heartbeat, and he told him that he had nothing to do with it, and it was staying steady, but I feel like well, he said he talked about how he had, his more how did he call them? His more on the edge friends in the, in the realm of officers, but you feel like he would have known something about it if that was the case. I don't know. That
I don't
was a
know,
little
but
slightly confusing for me on that.
the last 3 times that we've seen this dude, he hasn't been in uniform. So I want to say that he's kind of maybe taking a step back and readjusting and realizing where
Mhm.
he sits in his life because he was saying how his grandfather has worn this badge and how his dad's worn this badge
Right.
and like maybe this isn't what I want to be doing with this badge and I need to reevaluate. And I think maybe that's where he's going with this because we
Mm.
haven't seen him in uniform.
But
Like,
we did see him with the skull tattoo on his wrist, and we
well,
had
yeah,
the
but he
skull.
got that like before, you know?
Yeah, I just feel like if
So,
he before though, if he was a part of that group, he would still know if they were they're the ones that did it.
well, I mean, if you're not in the group anymore, how are you going to know what that group is doing?
Okay, that's true. I see what you're saying. That he pulled out of the group completely. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure, that makes sense. That would be the only thing I think that makes sense actually, because otherwise you think he would know something and wouldn't have that calm
yeah,
heartbeat unless he's just
yeah.
he is a straight shithead. So,
I don't know.
uh,
I'm kind of like believing in like the second chances, like maybe
yeah,
there's more to it kind of thing. So that's where I,
it would be nice to see how bad things went down, what happened, for it to make him rethink things and reevaluate himself. That
yeah.
would be the best thing to happen, in all honesty. So I really like that theory. Um, so we see, you know, the amulet and stuff getting bagged up, and then Matt have, conversation at the morgue with Angela Dottore, the niece, and we know in the
Mhm.
comics she takes on the mantle. Do you think that was a little nod, a little tease for us, that she
So
might
they had
later on?
So they had actually said in an interview, the creator of this episode had said that in an interview they took it out of the scenes of actual Daredevil that
Yeah.
the amulet's eyes actually were supposed to light up when she got near to the bag to kind of say like it's calling to her, and they took
Right.
it out. So maybe we're gonna get like the a different white tiger in between that time frame. I think
Mm.
that eventually she is going to become white tiger, like the comics say. But I think first it's supposed to be her mom. There's an Ava that's supposed to
Yeah,
become white tiger
yeah,
first.
I think it's her mom. So 'ca I think it was originally, like, his sister took on the mantle, then his niece took on the mantle after in the
Hmm.
comics, I believe is how it went. So,
Right.
yeah, but then also another rumor is that there is gonna be one more MCU star making an appearance that's actually in Hero. And they obviously haven't made an appearance yet, and it's not someone just in the MCU. It's supposed to be a hero, and rumor is it's going to be Ms. Marvel, and we know how Ms.
Oh.
Marvel shows up, like in Hawkeye at the end and recruits Kate Bishop, pulling the old Nick Fury thing. Uh,
Hmm.
Curious, like you think she might pull up, and have a little talk with Angela in this?
You immediately said like a hero's gonna come up, and I was like, cool. So we're trying to get to the Defenders. So Jessica Jones, because we still had that
Yeah,
like kind
but
of
no, they're
rumor
saying
that
from
Jessica Jones.
MCU though, not Netflix.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Like,
okay.
supposedly, it's like
Um,
I think it's, like, confirmed, but they have not told who, that one MCU hero will make an appearance in this before the season's over.
okay. Well, I mean, I guess it could be one of the young like Avengers that we're
Mhm.
having. So it could be a Kate Bishop or Miss Marvel, I guess. But
Reason I was thinking
I
Ms.
don't know.
Marvel, because she has been showing up recruiting, like Kate Bishop and stuff. But then also her dad is confirmed to be in this on top of that, because we've
Hmm.
seen this from still shots. So I think, I was thinking, well, if her dad's already going to be in this, she's already recruiting Young Avengers. It just makes sense for me. If they don't do it, shoot. I am
What
not gonna
about
lie. I kinda wanna see it.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, I mean,
We
that's
keep
very
on getting
possible too.
hinted about Spider-Man. Just let me have Spider-Man.
Watch it, if we do for some wild reason get Spider-Man, I don't think we'll even have a line. I think it'll be a CGI of him swinging in the background. I don't think
Yeah,
we'll get
or
Tom
like
Holland speaking line if
no,
he has made an
I think
appearance.
that It's either going to be like, because we don't know if it's an appearance like a speaking role or if it's like an actual thing. Like maybe it's like a photo, like on a newspaper of like the Daily Bugle, and like
Mm-hmm.
that's how we start piecing things together. Because we saw the Flatiron Building, I think, in this episode,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it didn't say Daily Bugle on the side of it,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't be working at like a different building. Maybe I don't know. The iconic like Daily Bugle sign is supposed to be on the Flatiron Building, so I don't know.
Yeah, because I think what we've seen from Spider-Man is it No Way Home, where Daily Bugle actually started out in J. Jonah Jameson's basement with the green screen behind him, but by the end of it, he had his own like newsroom, I think, because he had grown so much, but we don't know where that
Mhm.
is. So maybe he still hasn't made that stepping. He's in that stepping stone. It hasn't made it to actual like a ginormous place. Uh, from the way they're kind of taking it for the first time ever. Uh, you
Yeah,
know, with I guess adapting to the newer age of where we're in, where streaming and
yeah.
people starting up and stuff. But
I
uh,
don't know. Like maybe during like BB's segment, you'll see like Spider-Man swinging by, or, and I think that it would be like kind of like a cool little nod that if we do get Spider-Man in it, because in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, we got
mhm,
Daredevil in it, voiced by Charlie Cox. Yes, it was a different universe one, but
right,
tie it together. Give me more is what I want.
yeah. So also another thing, we at the end we got to see Muse, and I think it's pretty obvious. I thought it, but it did make me think where I've seen people online talking where I'm like, all right, the guy that approached her, for the book signing said he needed help, she'll make room. Obviously, I felt like that was obvious and that's going to be Muse. But then, like, a lot of people are like, what if that's a red herring? And they're just making you to believe that. I'm like, shit, that could be right. Like Marvel's known for doing that on purpose. And
Yeah.
then I've seen some people like, well, what if Daniel Blake is the Kingpin guy? What if he's Muse? And I'm like, well, I don't think the body
Yeah,
shape
that's exactly what I
fits.
was thinking of. Yeah, it's the body shape,
hmm
or
But
contour, if you will. Like,
we get to
yeah.
see in the credits of this one. Obviously, he doesn't show his face, but in the credits, Hunter Doohan is in the credits for this, and Muse is the only person we get to see. So I think that's pretty good confirmation. It's definitely him, and
Okay.
the body shape fits. I'm
Yeah.
anxious to see like I don't know. That's a pretty grotesque scene at the end. It's like, "Ghoul," and I don't know. I'm curious to see where they go with this and how crazy wild they get with it compared to the comics. But
Yeah. I'm
how
excited to actually see Muse actually do like his paintings. And when in in the therapist room when you heard Vanessa talking about how Adam was great with his hands and how he paints and everything. Immediately my brain was like, "Oh my
Yeah,
God, Adam's Muse." And
yeah,
then we saw like Adam at the end and I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
well."
I'm not gonna lie, when they said that, I was like, "Oh, man, maybe there's someone else we didn't think that was Views," type thing. But then we got, that scene. So, oh,
Maybe he escaped out of the back, you know? Like maybe he's actually,
I don't know.
I don't know, because Fisk isn't there the entire time, and yeah,
Yeah,
he does have guards there, but maybe the guards are working with him. You never know these days, like
I don't
who's
know. I feel like
like
Fisk though has been putting
twist.
the beat down on him because we've been seeing those knuckles. I think if that guy could get out of the beat downs by Fisk, because we know Fisk hits pretty hard, that guy wouldn't be coming back and let him keep doing that. I don't know.
Unless like
I
it's for the plot, like
yeah,
he wants Wilson Fisk to snap. He wants him to
yeah.
snap, and then you hear like Vanessa say like talking to the therapist about like, are you safe? And she's like, of course I'm safe. And then she talks about it during dinner, like, like held me back, and I'm like, I'm wondering, should I feel safe? And
Yeah.
he's like, I wouldn't do anything, to hurt you or whatever. And he kind of goes off into like his dad and how he like always remembered things about his dad. And remember back in, was it Hawkeye or season 2 of Daredevil or something? When he was talking to, I think, Bullseye or somebody, saying that like he learned his habits from his dad and he beat his dad in the head with a hammer.
Mhm.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So like if his dad is someone that he loved and eventually he snapped and he beat the shit out of his dad, with a hammer, there's
Yeah,
something that like we talked about last week that we think that Vanessa's gonna die at the end of this, and maybe he's gonna kill her.
I think Adam's definitely dying. So
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't
We'll
know,
see.
but I don't know.
Maybe she tries to release him, and because she finds out where he's at, because both of them said, "I don't know where Adam is," and maybe that's how he snaps, like
Mhm.
Fisk snaps, is because, um, like Vanessa goes to release Adam to try to show compassion and try to get him out of the situation that he's in, and then he ends up killing her.
Yeah, I love too how like and we know Fisk was going to obviously change, but I love how like this scene really true. It really establishes that Fisk hasn't changed. He's not even trying
Yeah.
to change. He's literally just
Mm-mm.
masquerading to do and to get where he needs to with power.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning it's like, oh, is he struggling? And we all know where he's going to end up going. He's not going to ever become good. But then we're like, oh, he's not struggling at all. He's just masquerading it. And I love it how he pops up when those kids are singing, and they're like, oh, for the next one. He's like, no, 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 can't take no more. I'm out of here.
And then he had to go to the
And it-
Latvian
yeah,
community
and hear
center,
this
and
song
they were
again.
singing it again. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yes. Oh man.
And
And
then, yeah,
I love how
yeah,
Leroy too brings up randomly. What if it was a scroll when Matt's talking about defending him? Like, yeah, yeah, like a scroll came in, did that, and then came outside and then planted these on you. And I love how they just like intertwined that word in there.
yeah. Because
Uh,
apparently this was supposed to happen after Secret Invasion, is like
right,
when this was
right.
supposed to. But then, like after Secret Invasion, kind of like was a like it didn't do so well.
It didn't
Like
land
that's
so well, yeah, with everybody. Mhm.
so like they were thinking that maybe like New Rockstars was thinking that maybe that's why they just mentioned it, and then you never like see anything else about it. It was because it was supposed to be more of a thing, kind of a callback to Secret Invasion. Than when they were doing the reshots and the rewrites for the script, they
Mhm.
realized that like we got to take this out. So
So, speaking of Daredevil and, like, this coming Tuesday, it's
yeah,
really strange, but and I'm not complaining one bit, but we're actually getting 2 episodes this Wednesday, like, mid-season,
yeah.
and it's gonna be the last time the remaining of the episodes will be single release even up to the finale. What is there a reason you think that we're getting this? Do you think it's just them being creative and doing it, or do you think there's actually a legit reason in the storytelling that they need to release 2 episodes this Tuesday,
Well,
for how the
no,
story's
I
going
mean,
and what they need to do for us to get the best grasp on it?
so I think that like Spider-Man, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, they're just trying new things out. And like we
Mhm.
knew that this was going to be happening like
Right.
before the season even came out, but um I think that especially because of where we're at now, I think that maybe they are tied, but I think it's more along the lines of Disney's trying new things with releasing episodes kind of
Mhm.
differently to see what grabs people's more of their attention, to see if they would watch two at a time, or how the fans react, and kind of getting the feedback,
Sure.
because of how Secret Invasion did, and um, they just want to see like how can we do better.
Yeah, I'm down for it because, like, I'm super impatient waiting from week to week for a single episode. So I feel like
Yeah.
this is gonna give me just a little bit more to eat on, but then I think it's gonna kill me the remaining of the weeks waiting on.
Oh yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure.
I wish
Yeah,
they would have,
I
like,
do.
done this, like, mid-season, do this double episode, do the singles, and then do a double at the finale.
Yeah, yeah. I think that that would have been amazing, because then like one and two were together, three and four separate, five and six together. There's only supposed to be eight though, right?
Is there 8 or 9? I think it's 9.
Okay, so then seven would have been alone, and then eight and nine together. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe three
Yeah.
and four should have been
Yeah,
together.
because after is it 8? Is it 9? Shoot, I can't remember now. Because
I
this
don't
is
know.
4 oh, yeah, this is 5 and 6 we're getting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and there's 3
yeah,
more
because
after
we're on
that. So
episode
it
four right
yep,
now. Yeah.
yeah, so it is 9.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think that they're really just trying to play around with it. I think with 10 episodes, it's kind of easier that to do like two singles, two.
Right.
Um, because nine's a little bit, it's an odd number,
It is.
the prime
Yeah.
number, but it's an odd number as well. Um,
Speaking of
math.
prime numbers,
But
that made me think of Shrinking when that woman's like 13, was it 13? 17 is a prime number. He's like, so is 97. Anyway, I won't get off on Shrinking tangent, not in the middle of Daredevil. Because I'll get off on a
your
tangent for a minute on that.
your brain works in mysterious ways.
It does. It does.
Um, but so we saw the Punisher in this episode, right?
Right.
And
Hmm.
we actually got it confirmed that he is coming back for season 2. But we did hear, I think last week, that he is supposed to be also doing his own standalone type of
Right.
presentation. We aren't sure if it's like a show or a movie or if it's just like a
Yeah. Yeah.
behind the scenes like
So
type look. Like I don't remember.
supposedly, it's a special presentation, like a 50-minute special. Uh,
Okay.
and that's what we've seen so far. I think we talked about that last week, maybe. And then this week, it's been official that he's been greenlit for season 2 of Daredevil as well. So I personally think that I think Frank's going to, from here on out, always have some kind of appearance in Daredevil because people
Mm,
like the collaboration of them two together so much, and they've
yeah.
established such a from the Netflix series. They've established it so
Yeah.
strongly and people love it so much that I think he will always forever make it may be, minute and it may be large. It may vary from back and forth, but he's will
Mhm.
always forever be on Daredevil from here on out. So it's honestly no shock or surprise to find this out to me.
Yeah.
Um
And I
speak
like the new rock stars how they had said that like at the end of them having their little debacle, Matt and Frank Castle, that after Matt leaves, like Frank is sitting there and it looks like he's talking maybe to his like guy in the or his son.
uh-huh.
So maybe his son is like telling him to like go and say hello or go
Yeah,
run and like catch up with him and fight with him or whatever. And I don't know.
I also think that the special presentation, like if they do like we've had special presentations for like the 50-minute thing, I truly
Mm,
think it's going to be a story of not what's happening from here moving forward. I think it's definitely going to be what's happened since we've seen him last in Punisher season 2 or Punisher
yeah,
season 2 or season 3 of Daredevil, whichever one it was, can't remember. And then like between here and now, because literally from when we see him last in a Netflix series to where we see him now in this series, something major's happened again
yeah.
because he is not even in the same state of mind where he's kind of accepting what he's doing and he's working on his mindset. I mean, we do get to see him taking medicine, in this scene.
Hmm.
So it seems like he is still trying and working, but he seems completely unearthed, like from last time we seen
Yeah.
him in the Netflix
But
series.
we also don't know what kind of meds those are. They could be like
Mhm.
illegal, like, you know,
Narcotics.
yeah, they
Yeah,
could
he
be,
he could have been healing from being shot a couple of times.
So we don't know what these meds
Yeah,
are.
it's
We
true.
can hope for the best and hope that they're good meds, but
Hmm.
we could also like theoretically think that they aren't good meds and it's questionable.
This is very true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's how my brain works.
But yeah, I think
But
I
hey,
think it'll be
Jamie.
that. Do you think in the 5 years of the blip or the snap,
Mm,
do you think that he actually endured and was alive during all of that, and that actually might be in that area of the storytelling? What happens in that, or do you think that he might have been gone those 5 years?
I think he was
Because
gone
there's a
because
7-year gap between when we last seen him in
yeah,
Daredevil until now. And even there
yeah.
was 7 years since we've watched it, and we found out from the timeline, it seems like they're actually making this 7 years in advance as well. So it happened
Mhm.
real time, in the film from when we also in real life seen them on screen.
Yeah. I want to say that it was that he like got snapped. He was one of the guys that was like taken, dusted, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's also another reason why he was so hurt and like drawn back about his son passing. Because yes, obviously like any parent would be upset about their son like dying, but
Mhm.
like if you even have shortened even more time of you lost those 5 years and you finally are reconnecting and now
Reconnecting. His son and his wife died way before, like, all this Netflix series. That's why he
oh
went
shit.
crazy and killed all of the dirty cops and friends that was working with him because they helped set up the death of his wife and son. Remember from Netflix? He's talking about he sees that, that's where the little saying he says and stuff, and he's like has the voice of his son with him
Mm,
because that was his whole thing that drove him for the revenge streak and killing everybody was the death of his wife and kid.
yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, I guess then it doesn't really matter if he was
No, it, it,
here
re-
or
it really
not.
don't matter because he's going to have the same mindset of
Yeah, I mean,
revenge
like
and justice.
if he stayed, then he was able to cross off more people off of his list of like the guys that he had behind him, like their mugshots or whatever that he was like
Hmm.
crossing off, that we got to see in Daredevil. But I mean, at the same time, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just
I
curious,
don't
like
think it just.
what route of people like those pictures behind him? Who is he even going after to consider? Because obviously, I think on the personal level, that's kind of dealt with, and so
Mm,
unless there's other branches of things he's found out on a personal level that we don't know about, or is he just going after just really bad people that deserves vengeance? That's
yeah.
typically his typical thing. I don't know,
Hmm.
but speaking of Daredevil season 2, there's been some set photos leak out. If you don't want to see these, give us a couple minutes. We'll show them right now. But here's one right here of Matt, and it seems like underneath what he's hiding that he might be actually repping the black Daredevil suit. And then we also have this one right here of him and Karen in a bright red wig. Why
Hmm.
she is wearing that, I'm not 100% sure. Is she, undercover trying to, hide, or is that just her new look? Do you think that she's like trying to hide and blend in, or do you think that might be her new look?
I think that when girls go through things, we tend to make drastic appearances. Like when I got out of the
Okay.
military, I dyed my hair.
Mhm.
Just 'cause like that was me starting my new life. And maybe when she got to San Francisco,
It's
she
very possible.
decided that she needed a new look. Foggy was gone. She was now out of Matt's life, and she needed to focus on herself and
Right.
really reaccomplish what she needed in life. So maybe she dyed her hair and she's starting a new life, but now something has brought her back uh to Matt. And what that is, I don't know, but I think that it's an actual look like
Yeah.
that she has. I don't think that she's like hiding.
And I wonder too, like if that's I didn't pay attention to the background, but I wonder if that's a scene being shot with like her coming back to New York, talking to Matt, or if that's Matt going to San Francisco and
Trying to mull things over and get her to come back.
well, no, I'm just possibly, but like if it's just a scene that him going there. But if you look behind his glasses, he's beat. His face is beat pretty bad. But I'm just curious, like
Mm,
if they're going to keep Matt in the Daredevil thing, I think they'll mostly keep him always in New York because Hell's Kitchen and what it is. But also, he was on the West Coast for a little bit because we know what happened between him and She-Hulk, obviously. So
yeah.
it makes me wonder if he's ever going to make another appearance back on the West Coast, or if it's always going to be Karen coming back to the East.
Well, is there any comics where Wonder Man and Daredevil like ever experience each other? Because we're getting Wonder Man in December,
Right,
and
and
this
that's
is
West
supposed to
Coast
take
too.
place after. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's like Southern California or Northern California. I can't remember. Oh, well, it was supposed to be Los Angeles. Those are like 8 hours away.
Yeah, I
So
think I
never
think
mind.
Wonder Man was, like, in LA area, and
Hmm.
then you have, like, Shang-Chi and Karen in San Francisco area,
Okay.
and then sh
Oh.
yeah, and there's one more area on the West Coast in California, something else is taking place, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. Oh, I think it's She-Hulk, yeah,
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
think she's in San Francisco, so majority of it's in San Francisco, but Wonder Man, is LA, Hollywood type thing, so
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. We shall find out. It's interesting. But I love how we're watching season one and they're like on top of it. They're already filming season two. When a
Hmm.
lot of most majority of the time you don't get that until afterwards because they really want to see how things go. It goes to show the confidence that they have and what they've already built without even
Yeah.
getting a complete audience reaction from it. I don't know. That's great. Next on the list, though, we have some Avengers Doomsday news. So, let's see. Alex Perez, he's from the Cosmic Circus, so take this with a grain of salt because this is not confirmed. And they're kind of hit and miss on a lot of their reports and stuff. Some stuff's right, some stuff's wrong. But he is saying that Dooms in Avengers Doomsday story will be really heavily focused on Loki, and that literally it's going to be a race between Doom and the new group of Avengers who can get to Loki first, because Doom is wanting to save things in his own way, and he's wanting to
Hmm.
get to kind of like take over, all of the timelines, and Loki's the one, as we have seen from Loki season 2, who's holding it all together. And
Right.
so it's literally to see who can rate. It's like a race to Loki and who can get to him first. What do you think about this? Do you like that idea? I
I love that idea. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like, I
Yeah.
love that they're connecting Loki season 2 into like the Avengers Doomsday. And like it wouldn't make any sense if they didn't, because he
Right.
is the keeper of time. He is the keeper of all of the
Right.
timelines, right? So I think that it would make the most sense that like he would
I
be
want
a
this
part
so
of it.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want this so bad. Because for one, there's kind of like talk and murmur that, well, this is probably the last we've seen of Loki, and just to get more Loki on screen, and not only just that, but it be heavily centered on him as well. Which obviously, a lot of it's probably going to be in the race to him. It may
Yeah.
not be like him throughout the whole thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
it makes 100% sense, especially with Doom, and like I think. Do you think we're also going to see? Because this typically you would think this would be something that Kang would be doing, and knowing that they're kind
Right.
of like Kang's going to be done. Do you think we'll see how Doomsday or how Victor Von Doom also deals with Kang and maybe eliminates him on this?
Well, I already had a thought like a couple of episodes
Hmm.
ago where I think that, or there was a rumor, and I was like, I like this rumor where we're going to see not really Jonathan Majors so much, but we are going to see Doom somehow deal with Kang,
Hmm.
and Kang the Conqueror is going to be no more, and maybe the new Avengers are going to deal with like Sylvie and get her to help them find Loki.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm here for it. I like that idea, and like Sylvie to sit there and be back on screen as well with Tom Hiddleston. Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still curious too, like who this complete new group of Avengers is going to be. That
Yeah.
Sam will put together as well. But
I don't know. I guess we'll hear some more about it after in hopefully Thunderbolts. So we'll get like an end credit scene, or we'll hear like Sam, because like oh no, you're talking about Sam as in
Wilson.
Sam Wilson. Yep.
Mhm.
Cap. My bad. Different. Different.
What Sam are you talking about?
I don't know. I was thinking Bucky for some reason, and
Oh,
my brain went Sam there. I don't know. Like I said, guys, I'm sorry. Today has been a day, and it's only 11. But
I think Bucky will be in this, and I think whoever survives from Thunderbolts, I think they will be almost like a beeline Avengers, whatever or whatever they
what
decide to
if
cover the name that will
what
help
if
with the
they're
new Avengers
also
group.
what if they're also on a race to go get Loki?
Well, don't you think they would be kind of like in talks and conjecture with the new Avengers group because of Sam and Bucky and like kind of like their closeness they have and stuff?
Yeah.
I think they would like help join in with the new group of
I
Avengers.
think that they would be talking, but then like Sam and Bucky's like relationship would have something happen to it where they disagree,
Hmm. Okay.
maybe. And that's why you have like two different Avengers, or I don't know.
It's possible.
Just a thought. I
It's
don't know.
possible.
It could be completely wrong. These are all conjecture, so I'm
Right,
not.
right. My like opinion on that. I think we're done seeing like them butt heads through the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and
Mm.
like seeing him kind of show up in Captain America, Brave New World. There to support him because Joaquin's in the hospital. I think they're at their inseparable stage now that won't ever tear them apart.
Well, I
But
think by
there could be
Doomsday,
a moral thing
Joaquin.
though that does.
Yeah, and I think by Doomsday, Joaquin's going to be out of the um, hospital, and maybe he's
Oh
taken
yeah,
up that
he will have the mantle taken up by then.
the Falcon. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, Bucky showed up for support, I just feel like they have that brotherhood now that won't be split apart.
Eh,
Sam and Bucky. I don't know, we'll see. There's so many things that they can do.
yeah.
Uh, she keeps making the news lines. People's rumors are spinning like crazy with her. I think everybody's just dying to know since she's been announced. But Sadie Sink, we spoke, has been cast in Spider-Man 4 officially, and everybody's just dying to know who she's going to play. And the rumor mill is just going insane on fan cast ideas. But here's the latest one, and I think I like this one the most because we talked about MJ. We don't think they're going to bring in MJ on screen because we already have Michelle Jones, and even though it's not Mary Jane Watson, it's still an
Yeah.
MJ. You talked about Jean Grey possibly because they are introducing the X-Men, Beast and different ones so far from different
Mhm.
universes. Uh, Starfire, I think, has been mentioned,
We
but
also talked
it's
about
about
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I do like that idea. But I think this is my new favorite one because we did get Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker in No Way Home. And then we also know that, you know, Sony and Marvel's kind of went back and forth, ground level, still, multiversal, ground level. And they might have that still that blend of both that she is cast to be Mayday Parker, possibly. Tobey Maguire and
Oh,
Kristen Dunst's daughter, who becomes Spider Girl because she inherits her father's powers. And that she might come through a portal from Tobey Maguire's and team up
okay.
with Tom Holland. And the one thing, too, is like Tom Holland talked about how him and Zendaya read the script for Spider-Man 4 and he's like, "It didn't feel real. The script was that good." And it's just like, wow, I can't believe they went there. And like they are professional, they're very
Mhm.
professional when it comes to acting. So not necessarily saying that they would be down and out, but it's said that MJ because of the memory thing and stuff like that, and then her schedule as well, that she's losing. She may not be on the focal love interest on Spider-Man 4. But do you
Mhm.
think like she would personally get super excited of them bringing in a new love interest for her? Or would they get more super excited because Tobey Maguire's daughter's coming in through another dimension and they're going to team up and fight?
I think it's the latter of the two, especially because of Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse, number two, the
Hmm.
Spider-Verse movies, where we saw all of the Peters and we did get to see Peter Parker have a daughter and she
Yeah.
did have those like web swinging like
Oh, she's a
abilities.
little kid. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, like, what if now we're even tying that in to like
Mhm.
the MCU as a whole? So I think that they are excited more about that. They're bringing in like another piece of the comic, or comics rather.
Right.
And I don't think that like Zendaya feels any type of way about like there's a new love interest for
Right,
Peter
right.
Parker. That is the theory, right? We don't know for sure, but we do know that Peter Parker at this point, um, like Tom Holland's character is going to be doing 24/7 Spider-Man. He's not going to be doing really Peter Parker things. He's going to be focusing strictly on Spider-Man.
Mhm.
So if they did get the daughter to come through, she does have like the spider abilities. So that would like really help him realize and recognize that like there are other people out there
Right. And
that
and
are
then
like
also,
him.
like, even though it seems like, from when Tobey Maguire crossed over and maybe she wasn't at that age yet, but because they can
Mhm.
cross over in a universe, they could literally easily just jump forward 10 years, and still come over in this timeline, in this universe at this time. Because Toby
Yeah,
can be like, "Oh, yeah, 10 years ago." It may not be in Tom Holland's time, but it was 10 years in Tobey Maguire's time, and they could
yeah,
so make that work, and it makes sense.
yeah.
I think this is the one I'm the most excited about, and I would love to see on screen.
Yeah. I mean, like, so we don't know exactly know how old or sorry, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was at that point in time
Right.
when he came through.
But it wasn't no
And
spring
like,
chicken.
and we don't know the difference between like when he was Spider-Man 3 versus to
Right.
now, right? So there's that gap of time of like he could have theoretically had a kid that's now like teens, 20s,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
very
just because he
likely.
didn't mention her in the last one doesn't mean that she wasn't 10, 12
Yeah,
years old at that time, so for sure.
exactly.
Yep. Speaking of Spider-Man 4 stuff, let's see. So Marvel also has been talking. But this is by Daniel Rickman, Daniel RPK, and he's way more right than he is wrong. So he's decently solid when it comes to his reports. But they
Hmm.
say Marvel is reportedly looking for an actress between the ages of 30 and 50 years of age for to be the main villain, a female villain for this movie as well. And a lot of people, immediately with this age range, they're like, could it possibly be Spider Queen, or could it be Shathra, or Silver Sable. So I don't know. I think those are pretty wild, but anything's possible. Silver Sable's not wild. That's pretty grounded. Because she is the daughter of Silvermane, a villain as well in there. But Spider Queen, that was a picture of her human form, but she turns into a grotesque spider looking beast.
Mm,
It's pretty grotesque and wild looking. That would be wild to see on a semi grounded Spider-Man movie.
yeah.
Same way with Shathra, pretty significant beast looking. I don't know. I think I'm not sure what is there anybody specifically you'd like to see as a female main villain in this, or is just like just give us what you want to give us. I, I don't really
Yep.
have no certain feelings about it, to be honest with you. I'm open. I'm open to anything, honestly, right now. I just want this.
Mm.
I just want to get the Mayday Parker thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But going on to news about like Avengers projects, we got Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
She has been kind of in the talks of like for the new Avengers projects of possibly getting in there. The Russo Bros say that she's on the list.
for every
Uh,
project.
yeah, so, if she's on the list, like who would you like to see her play? Like I think that like maybe like a Kitty Pryde type thing would be cool
Hmm.
for her.
I can see that.
Because if we're trying to get X-Men and Avengers kind of get that more of a crossover, we're getting more
Hmm.
X-Men into the MCU, I think that would be like a cool role for her. Because she kind of has that like kind of vibe, like that kind
Yeah,
of like
no, that's
cool.
out of the X-Men I've seen fan cast, I think Kitty Pryde's probably the one I can see her the most as. There's a lot of
Mm.
people fan casting her as Rogue, and I just don't see her as a Rogue. I just really don't.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think she's just too young for Magneto. It depends on, I guess, what Magneto we get as well, but
Well, I mean, Magneto, she was too young for Magneto in the comics, but
I
in the
know,
cartoon.
but
But we
I
don't
know.
necessarily have to see her and Magneto together ever on screen, to be honest with you.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
they can focus more on her and Gambit, but I don't know. And I'm not saying she can't pull it off. I just don't really see her as a Rogue character
No, I see her more as a Kitty Pryde and
for
walking
sure.
through walls, and I think that would be really cool.
I do hope they if they do cast her in this, I hope they really think, and I'm sure they will, but think hard about who they cast her as, and don't just throw her in there to be throwing her in there, and then it just
Hmm.
not really flow well with whatever character she plays.
Yeah. But Spider-Man, Beyond the Spider-Verse got a little bit
Mhm.
of news. So we got an official logo looking thing. And as you can kind of see here, like the old one, it was more just neat looking, and then this one is more glitchy, which kind of
Mhm.
resembles more of what we saw last in the Spider-Verse, the Across the Spider-Verse movie, where at the end we saw Miles Morales in Earth like 42, and he was in the wrong universe and he was kind of like glitchy.
Right.
Um, so I think that's cool, but I kind of just want a date still for this movie. We were supposed to get it
Please. It's been pushed
last
back
year.
too.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, and it keeps getting pushed. And we had the logo go up in Chelsea, New York, that we talked about like months
Yeah, and
ago,
that was
and
so sick.
yeah, it was. But like, I don't know, man. Like, stop giving me shit like
Yeah.
about like the new logo and just make the movie. Like
And
that's what I want.
that new and old photo too came from a article done from the direct by Richard Nebbins as well. So just had to throw that little mention in there.
Yeah. But I know that we talked about SZA before, doing the Bateman as Catwoman, right?
Right,
But
right.
she was recently on the Jennifer Hudson show, and she
Yeah.
said she'd like to play Storm. Now, I really do love this because she wants to play like an origin type Storm, and really get down to the roots of like her coming out of the jungle and getting her origin of like how Storm came to be. Her dad apparently collects comics and has like a bunch of first editions in their basement. So she like grew up super into like Marvel and DC, and I absolutely love this. I love everything that we keep getting about SZA. Like I'm
It's
just so
amazing what
happy.
you like little things like this that you find out about these celebrities that you never would have known until they
Yeah,
come out about it, which I think is awesome. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I know we spoke a lot about fan cast before as Storm. is this now your new number one, or is she still, or where's she rank at on the list of people that we've talked
She's
about?
definitely top three. Definitely
Okay.
top three. But I still do like Janelle Monáe
Yes.
as
Yes.
my number one. But
Same.
I think she would be number two because I think she could pull it off. Seeing her as Catwoman.
But the acting, do we know if she can act it?
So she just came out with a movie with Kiki Palmer, and Kiki Palmer is like said that she wants to play Rogue, so I think that would be like really cool. But anyway, that's something else. But she just came out with a movie, and it's gotten like nominated for like awards and stuff, and she's really enjoyed it. I haven't seen the movie um yet,
Hmm.
but she never thought of herself as an actor. And now that she did this role with Kiki Palmer, who used to be a singer and now is like an actor.
Right.
Um, she sees herself kind of diving a little bit more into that role. Um, so I think it would be really cool.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm not
know.
opposed to it. Like you said,
Yeah.
I would like Janelle Monáe to be the one. But if it's not her, yeah, let's say give her a shot. I mean it's pretty common to see a lot of the people in the music industry cross over into the film industry. Uh, but it makes me happy when it actually works.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You ready to get into some DC?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
So we have another cast announcement for Lanterns. We have Sherman Augustus. He lands a role in Lanterns, who will be playing John Stewart's dad, and this is per deadline that was announced. So yeah, that's official. It's confirmed. So another great actor. I can't remember what I've seen him from, but I know his face. I know his face from somewhere. He's a great actor. The cast. Go ahead.
You have it written in the notes as he previously played in Stranger Things season 4.
Yes, yes, that is what it was.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Jack Sullivan, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, they're having a stacked cast for Lanterns. I'm actually super excited for this show.
Yeah. I'm excited to get more kind of like still footage or like maybe some behind the scenes type photos,
Mhm,
um because we do have the Hal Jordan and what's his face still photo that we showed a couple of weeks ago.
mhm, yeah,
Um
Hal Jordan, John Stewart,
Thank you.
yeah,
We have that photo, but that's pretty much all we have. We don't have an exact
yeah,
date for this. We don't know
and that's just him in
how many
plain Jane
episodes it's gonna
clothes just
be.
walking down the
Yeah.
road, so, like, it was cool to get it, but it didn't really show us much.
But one of them was wearing a ring. I think it
Yep,
was Jon Stewart that was wearing the
it was Hal
ring.
Jordan, Kyle Chandler.
God damn it. All right.
Sorry.
Well, no, you're fine. Um, but it is kind of like a different ring,
Yeah.
and
We see so
I
many
mean, I don't
photos
know.
every week that we keep up with,
Yeah.
so it's hard to
All
uh,
right.
Jason Momoa has been doing, some interviews and promoting Minecraft. I
Mhm.
won't get on my thoughts on that. But so obviously knowing in the announcement and stuff of him being Lobo, people kind of like with the Russo brothers, no matter what they do, they're going to interject Avengers. I feel like with Jason Momoa, no matter what he does, they're going to interject Lobo. And he said they're halfway through filming his character for Supergirl, he's
Mhm.
going to be in. But he said that one thing that he will tell everybody is Lobo, his look on film is going to be almost spot on comic adaptation, which I feel like is super easy to believe because we're seeing James Gunn do a lot of spot on comic adaptation for just the Superman movie that we've seen and all the characters in that. So that's kind of nice to hear. But then he's like, also he said besides it being spot on character, from comic adaptation, he's like the motorcycle's pretty cool too. So uh,
Uh,
Jason Momoa is one of those to me that's like hit and miss. There's things I've
Okay.
not cared for him in. There's things I've thought he was okay in, and I feel like
Mhm.
online he has a very split group: people who hate him and people who love him.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, visually, just who he is as a person, he looks like he was born for this Lobo role. I really do, and I
It's
hope this is
something that he's
something.
always wanted to do, and I love that
Mhm.
like he's getting into that role and he's actually able to do it. I mean, I loved him in Game of Thrones as Khal Drogo. But like he did what he could for Aquaman.
Yeah.
That wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
Like so I don't know. Like I don't think that Minecraft is gonna be good, but I think he's gonna probably bring some of his own acting like stuff into it.
Mhm.
But who knows? I don't know because I'm not gonna watch it. So
Yeah.
I'll wait for it to come to streaming or
Oh,
whatever. But
yeah, I won't go to theaters, see it. It
oh
just
no,
don't it
no.
just doesn't do it for me, sorry.
Yeah. No, no, you're fine. But Sergeant Rock is something that I talked
Yeah.
about a month ago.
Mhm.
Daniel Craig did like, step out of it. We talked about that, a month ago, like I said. But back then we were talking about how Jerry Allen White was reportedly in the
Uh,
talks for it, but
yeah,
now
Jeremy,
we have
yeah,
but now we have Colin Farrell
yeah,
that is reportedly in the talks. So I think that he has more of a older,
I agree.
more like grizzly look to him.
Yeah,
So I think that he would pull it off more. But this kind of means that we're probably not going to get a Penguin season 2, which we weren't really expecting anyway. We wanted because he was great, but
mhm.
yeah,
A lot of people wanted
thoughts.
it because it's how well season 1 went over, and I still think there was a possibility. I still think there's a possibility because, yes, that's a Elseworld, but not only is it in the Elseworld, it
Hmm.
doesn't look like Colin Farrell because of the prosthetic. We know how Colin Farrell feels about wearing that prosthetic, but at the same time, for the right amount of money and the fans that
Oh,
love his
I
portrayal of
think he said
Penguin.
that he would do it again,
Oh,
like
yeah, he
knowing
did.
how well it
Yeah,
went over. Yeah,
and we know more than likely, I think it's everything but confirmed officially that he will be in the Batman 2. His character will have some kind of role in the Batman 2,
yeah.
um, which will start, filming by the end of this year. But I don't what? Oh, you're hoping? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm just over here hoping because
But
like
I
that's
agree.
another one that keeps getting pushed back. So like who
I love
knows?
Jeremy Allen White. I love the things that he's doing, especially in The
Yeah.
Bear, and I want to see him do some bigger things, like in some great film franchises like this. But I definitely feel like Colin Farrell definitely has the physical aesthetic more of a
Hmm.
grizzly, seasoned
Sergeant. Yes.
military person that, yeah,
Yeah.
than what Jeremy Allen White does.
He grows in that stubble. Psh, yeah,
And
he got it.
Colin Farrell's a phenomenal actor. I think
Oh
Colin
yeah.
Farrell, one thing about him, I think, there is a select few out there, not everybody can be like this, but he's such a versatile actor. He's proven that time and time again with his different roles. So I hope this is true. I hope they work out a deal, but I also hope this doesn't affect Penguin. If they do have plans, to produce a season 2 of Penguin, cool. I honestly wouldn't complain if we get a season 2, but I would love just to see standalone one season deals in this Elseworld for Batman for the villains. So we
Yeah.
kind of get more villain arcs and more build up for the Batman movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just allows us to be more invested when the movies come out for the Batman if they do these villain arcs in these standalone seasons. I think you don't
Absolutely
wanna
agree.
get I don't think you wanna drag them out too long and they get caught up to where, "Well, we did 3 seasons for this villain, but we only did 1 for this one," and that to me, that don't really make sense, so hopefully that's the route they're going. I hope Colin gets it. I hope they work out a negotiation because I think he would kill this role.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that.
But
That's
that
it
kinda
for
wraps
some
us. Yeah,
yeah. That's it for
DC.
some DC. Let's go ahead and get in some educated wish.
So it took long enough. I'm surprised he hasn't had one since then. But it's been announced in April. John Carpenter, the famously known for Halloween and many many others 80s and 90s movies, such as I think The Fog. Shoot, I can't think off the top of my head anymore. But Halloween's what he's most famously known for. Is getting his Hollywood Walk of Fame star.
Yeah,
So
on April 3rd at I think
mhm,
11:30 p.m. or something like that. But
well
yeah,
deserved.
absolutely. He is like the staple of like
Yeah,
Hollywood horror
definitely in
of
the top,
movies. Like yeah, I don't think we would be where we are today if it weren't for him. So I absolutely agree that he should have a star
especially
because
Jamie
he
Lee Curtis.
is right. Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
I'm happy that that's happening. But uh Amazon, they took over Bond and now they're fast tracking this new Bond movie. We don't really still have who's going to play Bond, but they do have plans to kind of fast track it and hopefully get it to by the end of 2027. now like I said, we don't really know like who's supposed to play Bond. We have a couple of names that have been rumored
Mm,
to play him. But Amy Pascal, who has done Spider-Man, like Tom Holland Spider-Man,
yeah.
the Beyond the Spider-Verse and Venom, she and David Heyman, who is
Okay.
Harry Potter, like all of the Harry Potters and Fantastic Beasts,
Hmm.
are in talks to actually produce this movie as well. Um, so it's good
Well,
things. Good things are coming about it, but we
yeah.
still just need more information.
So if Amy Pascal's live action work does a little bit better than her live action Spider-Man work, then uh,
What
without
happened with the live action Spider-Man?
well, no, I mean she can't produce live action good Spider-Man without Kevin Feige's help. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
because the
okay.
stuff that Kevin Feige's not involved in, that's just Sony Marvel, is nowhere near phenomenal as well as the Sony Marvel MCU collaborations. So
Yeah, but I mean, she's working with David Heyman, who's
yeah,
the
oh yeah,
Harry Potter, like Harry Potter.
yeah. No, so her
So,
collaborating with someone else and not solely being her, I think it's great because like I mean I'm not dogging on her, but I think it's good to collaborate with people because a lot greater things come out of something with 2 minds than 1, so
yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. But you heard about some Sydney Sweeney
yeah,
news.
so Sydney Sweeney's pretty hot and being used a lot in, like, movies, and she's one of the most used actresses right now in this moment, and so, like, she's not just, like, taking on, see how many things I can act in, but she's actually acting and producing and working on something right now. So, there was a crazy viral Reddit story that happened, and she's actually making a movie about it, and it's gonna be called "I Pretended to Be a Missing Girl," and it's literally her act. I don't know if she's gonna be acting the role of the girl, but
Hmm.
she's gonna be acting in it. I'm assuming she probably is, but she's also gonna be producing this as well. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I like it when you see a lot of these actors who want to jump more into movies than just acting in the roles. I mean, like Scarlett Johansson, she acts and produces quite a bit now. So yeah, it's great to see. I'm interested to see how that goes when her producing. If it's
Yeah,
going to be something
and
that she keeps doing, quite frequently and often, or if
mhm.
it's something she's going to do, then maybe find out it's not for her and leans more into the acting.
Yeah, this movie is supposed to have like Gone Girl type twists, is what I read.
Okay,
So I really liked Gone Girl.
I
So
did too.
I'm excited about that.
Filmed right here where I live.
Yikes!
Yep.
Yikes!
Did you know that?
Nope.
Yeah, it's filmed right here where I live. The bar that they have, that's in there, it's here downtown. Like it was running business, but right now it's actually empty and sitting for rent. But for a couple years after they filmed it, it was called the bar. It's a legit bar you can have drink at here where I live.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, they shut off a lot of areas downtown and filmed a lot of stuff here.
Okay. But The Count of Monte Cristo is
Yes.
uh a movie that you really like. They are remaking it, and they have I'm sorry, how do you pronounce this man's name?
Okay, so I so meant to look this up before we got on here.
Reggie
So
Jean Page.
yeah, I don't know if it's that. Yeah, that sounds possible. You
Okay.
know, is or is it is it slightly? I don't know. I feel like there's
Mm.
like slight pronunciation because it
It's
sounds
definitely has supposed to have like a French like twist to it because The Count of Monte Cristo is French. Um,
Jay
right?
Jean H. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know. Anyway, um, he is supposed to be to star in it, and he's also producing it.
yes. I'm so pumped for this. As we all know, I've talked about it many times. It's one of my favorite movies. Has a stat cast from the original. I think it came out in 1998 with Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce. I really want this to be good. I would kill for an updated version of this because it's not just the movie I love. I love the book. I just love the story in general.
Mhm.
So I would love to see an updated version done right. So I really hope they stick good to it. I think this is a huge, great, strong start to have him starring and producing in this.
Mhm.
So I'm unashamedly watched Bridgerton. I haven't completed it, but I actually love his acting and his character in this. So I'm pumped. I'm super pumped for this.
Yeah, and I like I was telling you that there is a 2024 version of the Count of Monte
Oh
Cristo,
yeah.
but it only came out in like France and Belgium. So when I went to Belgium in December, it came out
Mhm.
December 20th. So it was playing in theaters, but it's obviously in a different language. So that's like available to rent on like Prime and stuff if you guys like international movies. It did get some awards out in Europe, but it never really came over to the US. But yeah, that's there is an updated version. Just this is now the American updated
Right.
version that
One
we
I
are
wouldn't have
getting.
to read subtitles with. Which I
Yes.
I think I still am gonna find, I don't know when, but, like, I think I'm gonna find a way to watch that eventually because I'm still curious to see how, like, the acting and the portrayal of the story and how they tell it.
Yeah. It's like $5 to rent
Yeah.
on Amazon Prime
And I
Video.
reading subtitles don't really bother me, honestly, through a whole movie. It's not something obviously I wanna do all the time, but it's not a deal breaker for me, so.
Yeah.
But, we also
But
got some oops,
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was
No,
gonna
go,
say,
go, go.
we got some released, official photos through Entertainment Weekly of Mortal Kombat 2. Uh, Carl Urban, is highly talked about and very split talked about on the internet if people like him or not. Here's a couple other photos we received as well from Entertainment Weekly. Overall, people are loving majority of the photos. It's like a 50-50 once again split with people love it. People who majority of people love Carl Urban. And there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, I love Carl Urban, but they do not agree with him being this Johnny Cage. But then there's also a whole group of people who's like, "Oh my god, I'm so ready for this Johnny Cage."
I
I've
mean,
never been a huge Mortal Kombat fan, so I can't speak heavily and in detail on it. I will
yeah.
watch this. I've watched the first one. I grew up in the '90s watching, the OG ones. I've played the game a few times, but I'm just not like a super in depth knowledgeable about the fandom of it.
Yeah, but like Johnny Cage is supposed to be that like American military man and say what you will, but Carl definitely like has that look. Like
Yeah,
he has that like we saw it in The Boys where he has that like gritty side to him.
very.
So I think that this would be absolutely fine um with playing this character. I think that he would actually probably do really well with it too.
Well, Carl Urban too is another very versatile actor. There's not much roles that he can't play. We've
Mhm.
definitely seen a wide variety of characters he's played throughout the years.
Yeah. Are you ready to talk about some Severance?
Yes, I am, but I'm also sad because
Because
this
it's the
is
finale.
this was the finale episode. It's called Code Harbor. As we all know, it's the final file for Adam Scott to complete. Hit Mark. So I'll do a real quick recap of it. So Mark Cini awakens in a secluded cabin, communicating with his Audi via recorded messages. They hatch a plan to rescue Gemma from Lumen's testing floor, aiming to expose the company's dark secrets. Helly and Mark complete the critical Code Harbor file. Their success is celebrated with a marching band led by Mr. Milchek, but the festivity masks underlying tensions. Gemma enters the Code Harbor room facing a deeply personal test, disassembling a crib symbolizing her and Mark's lost child. The emotional
Mm.
trial is designed to push the boundaries of the severance procedure. Mark infiltrates the testing floor, confronting Drummond during a ritual involving a goat sacrifice. A struggle ensues, resulting in Drummond's accidental death. Mark locates Gemma, and they make a daring escape back to the severed floor. But as alarms blare, Mark and Helly reunite, leaving Gemma behind the closed door for her escape. And they're racing through Lemon's corridors, symbolizing their fight for freedom against the corporation's control. And then it ends. It
Damn.
literally ends with them running down the hallway. And for one, I'm so pissed that we went through all this. He saves his wife, but like his innie doesn't want to lose his love, Helly, who, as we've talked about, on past episodes, is the owner of this corrupt company, but her innie hates her outie and leaves his freaking wife out there. Oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated how this ended. And I
Well,
do
the good
not,
news is that it's been renewed for a third season, so
yeah.
you're gonna get that eventually. I
Mhm.
don't know if they're taping it yet so much, but I do know that it has been renewed, so at least you have something to look forward to.
Yeah, and the scene where Milchek is in like this complete full like 15-piece marching band comes in, dude starts it's pretty much a distraction from what they're, in the process what's going on to another floor of them. They're about to kill his wife.
Mhm.
Um it's wild. His dance moves and his performance. It's kind of hilarious and slightly. At first, I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" And then you kind of like find yourself interested in watching watching the whole thing. What was
Hmm.
wild too is Zach Cherry's character comes in, or not Zach Cherry, because Zach Cherry was the other guy that was in one episode. But anyways, they end up putting Milchick in a bathroom and putting a vending machine behind him, and then they get the marching band to turn and help again turn against Milchick. Oh no, so this it was a pretty wild episode, but my God, such a cliffhanger, and it pissed you off. It's so good. If you have not watched Severance, please go watch Severance. All 3 seasons, full 3 seasons. You can binge it right now.
There's only two.
Huh?
There's only two seasons. Third season's coming out
Is it?
eventually. Yeah, there's only two
Oh,
seasons.
well, shoot. Well,
No,
I made the mistake of that then.
no, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah,
It's so
season
good.
2 just ended. Season 3 got renewed. So,
Gotcha.
here we go.
But speaking of season threes, Reacher season
Yes.
3.
Yes.
We have one more episode left. This one is the one before the last, and it's called LA Story. So kind of go through the recap of that real quick. Reacher and Duffy touch down in Los Angeles, aiming to dismantle Quinn's West Coast operations. Their target, Darian Prado, a notorious drug dealer with ties to Quinn. Using sharp tactics, they coerce Prado into arranging a weapons deal, setting the stage for a deeper infiltration to the criminal network. Meanwhile, Neely confronts a former association of Quinn's, uncovering chilling details about his past and his readiness to eliminate anyone in his path, including the Beck family. Back in Maine, Zachary Beck grapples with the realization that his son Richard is in imminent danger. In a heartfelt moment, Beck vows to protect Richard, acknowledging past mistakes and the peril that they now face. The episode culminates with a tense setup. Reacher and his team, alongside bringing the ATF in, prepare to intercept a weapons exchange. However, a last-minute revelation indicates that the planned bust might be a trap, and this episode ends with Reacher realizing it is a setup as he's looking down the scope and on the phone with Neely. So there's a lot to happen. Yeah, it's pretty bam bam bam, action action action. This is a really good episode. Another thing I'm not looking for, all this stuff's ending. I'm like, I had all this stuff to watch the past few weeks, and then I'm gonna have like, unless there's new stuff I'm not thinking about right now, but there's gonna be so much I'm gonna have not to watch. And it's sad. It's like bittersweet. Like obviously I want to know what happens in these seasons, but yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, but speaking of things we're watching right now, get some Righteous Gemstones you want to cover.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, cool. So we are on season 4, their last final season, episode 2. It's called "You Hurled Me into the Very Heart of the Seas." So in the last episode, we had kind of like a flashback of how like Eli Gemstone came to be, and now this episode, we are now in the present day, and you see Baby Bob Billy, and he's doing his like own little thing, and he's talking with the kids, the 3 kids, and then they have jetpacks, and then all of a sudden one malfunctions, and Jesse's like flung into uh into like dancers and stuff, and it like all goes haywire. Um, so they're like, they end up like Baby Billy says cut, and they all go into his dressing room where you saw that um, photo, because you end up seeing him stand up because he starts just getting undressed. Like he like grabs like his like assistant to get like all of these like pieces of accoutrements, if you will, like off of him, and then all of a sudden he just drops his pants, and he's got a big old dick just in the screen, and he's just like swinging it back and forth, and I'm like, oh my God. And like
Yeah,
it's
it was a
HBO,
lot.
right? Yeah, so it's HBO, so they zoom in on it, and then they're just like, look, and he's like, look at it, look at it, look at your uncle. These are called privates. And I was like, yo, what is happening? So that ends up like ending. They talk about how they need Eli back, who's the dad, who's the one that's in charge of the actual like church. He has since retired, so now you see the 3 kids get on a boat and go
To
uh,
Florida.
to Florida to go get their dad, and you see Eli just like drunk in a stupor on his boat, and they eventually, by choice of words, get him to finally come back, and craziness just ensues. Uh, I loved this episode. It literally made me bust out laughing. I was screaming, like, thankfully, like I was alone in the house because I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I
John
was just,
Goodman rocking that long hair too.
oh yeah, he was, and um, God, it was a great episode, and I absolutely loved every part of it. I'm really sad to see this season end, but I love this episode. What do you think? Did you like this
Oh
episode
my god.
too? Like,
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love the whole jetpack thing. And he's like, "We're not professionals. We should." He's like, "You're going to wear these damn jetpacks." So like he's just like dead set on these jetpacks. And I
yeah,
love how she like these fairy wings. They're angel
yeah.
wings. Is that what they are? But man, baby Billy. I love Walton Goggins. Like God.
So the funny
Uh
thing is that like in the middle of the episode or towards the end, he was just like, "I got an episode that I gotta go tape with Baby Billy. It's Bible Bonkers." So we
yeah,
know
he's
that's
still doing the
still
Bible
going.
bunkers.
It's
Yes.
still going, which means we're
Oh.
probably gonna get like a clip of it, and I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy.
And then we also get John Goodman, Eli Gemstone's his wife has passed away. His best friend reappears and looks like he is falling in love with her as we see him
Oh, they
struggling with
start
his
making out.
yeah, he struggles as we see in Florida. Sounds like he's going through people quite frequently and living his so-called best life on a boat, drinking and partying. And but he tells a person that is there that he's just not feeling it. He just doesn't like him and pisses him off
She's
to go
like,
away.
I
Yeah,
am old. If you don't like me, just say you don't like me. And he just looks at her and he's like, I
I
don't
don't
like
like
you.
you.
And she just like gets her shit and walks away. And he's like,
Yeah.
all right. And like takes a swig of whatever, takes a cigar, and just starts walking down like the little dock and takes a little shower. He
Whole
is
different
literally living
Eli
his best
Gemstone that we
life.
have ever seen in the previous seasons.
But
Uh,
it makes sense because of what we
mm.
saw in episode one of like, this is really who he is. And this is him in his natural habitat, his natural skin of not
Well, yeah, oh,
pretending.
I mean, the what we've seen him in the previous deal was his grandpa. I mean, that doesn't mean that he's like his grandpa because like his grandpa. So I don't know. I think he's been the whole. I don't think this is his natural skin. I mean, in his younger years he did the wrestling thing and helping no crooked do out, getting people for money. But I mean, his whole most of his majority of his life's been preaching and skimming people, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways. I don't know. I think the grandpa that we see from the Civil War or whatever, like, is legit probably the biggest con of all of them that we see. Bradley Cooper, for sure.
Well, that's
But
Eli Gemstone.
well, yeah, his grandpa Eli, where he got his name from.
Okay.
John Goodman wouldn't be the one in the Civil War because that would be like 100 years prior.
Oh, yeah, that is true. That
That's
is
who
true.
he was named after his grandpa.
Oh. See, I totally missed that. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're here. Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh,
But
I don't know.
this episode brings it with the comedy, just like every freaking episode does. It's so great. I tell you what, back to seeing like these three on the boat here. I don't think I could handle being on that boat longer than 15 minutes with them three going at it. Oh my god.
They were standing there like in that line, and like boats in Florida, you got waves. So like
Yeah,
they ended up like stumbling at one point because they're like trying to stand and look all like tough.
badass.
But then
Yeah.
they like start like stumbling because you can't just stand on a boat and not stumble. So yeah. But
It's hilarious. I'm ready for the next one. Oh, it's tonight. The next
it's
episode's
tonight.
tonight.
It's
Yes.
tonight.
I just got so
So
excited.
just a few more hours and you'll be able to watch the next one, no problem. But the Goofy movie was
Yes.
something that was really like a big part of all of our childhoods,
Mm,
right? But they're making a documentary on it, and it's called Not Just a Goof. So
I'm
it's
so
just kind of
excited
like
about this.
it's a documentary that is gonna kind of be like the behind the scenes of the making of the Goofy movie and like the thought process that kind of went into it. It's gonna come out on Disney Plus on April 7th, so that's gonna also be something that we can watch and talk about probably on
Oh,
a couple of episodes from now after our con experience.
it's a timeless movie. I mean, it's so good, and it's still it's a TikTok trend right now. People playing that main song from the I can't think of the top of my head, but the character that
The
says
eye to eye.
yeah, there's people like I had it on my Facebook story the other day where it shows a guy this is such a great TikTok too. It shows a guy
Mm,
probably about close to around our age, somewhere in between, and it says 2025 kids. Now you have the song playing in the background, right? Like you hear it, and it says 2025 kids. Says this movie's so weird. He's got a weird look on his face, and then it goes to him in another place. It says 2025 kids. This movie just doesn't make sense. And then it goes to showing him in front of a fireplace, spot on doing the dance that they do on stage. And it says us 80s and 90s kids. And he does this song, he does the whole dance from start to finish without missing a beat. It's just, it makes you feel good in the soul. Something about that song. There's so many great one-liners in it. There's so many. There's the song. It's just a great freaking movie that will always hold a special place in my heart.
oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like we have a
It's one of,
lot of those movies where like kids nowadays, back in my day, they don't get it. Like they
yeah.
and that's okay. Every movie is kind of different for different audiences, but I look forward to watching this documentary because it
Oh,
is
me too.
a movie that does hold like a really nice place in my heart.
Yeah, and the guy
Especially
that plays the voice, I think it's the voice of Max.
mhm.
I could be wrong. Somebody to do with the Goofy movie. I cannot believe I didn't write this down. But he's actually making a lot of con appearances as well lately. I've been seeing him at different con appearances. So it's kind
That's
of
cute.
weird how this like so heavily resurfaced like out of nowhere. This documentary, people just randomly bringing up the music and the dance back on TikToks, him making con
Yeah.
appearances. I don't know. I'm here for it though. I'm here. Let it live forever.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The rights are kind of like up for sale right now. So every couple of years, like it happens. So this was back in the 80s, I want to say, is like when it first came out, maybe 90s, and then back
Hmm.
in 2003, Jessica Alba or Jessica Biel, one of the Jessicas, um, redid it, and it was on Netflix for a while. But now they're talking about rebooting it, and it's possibly in the works with the one, the only Glenn Powell. So, the
He's
rights
like
are up
the
for
male version
sale.
of Sydney Sweeney, like being thrown in
Right.
so many things.
And so like he's in the talks for this, and he has a writer for it. They don't have like they have a writer for the script that's also
Mhm.
working kind of with him on it. But they don't have like a director or a producer or anything like that. But everyone's kind of like questioning, is this going to be like a new A24 film? Like, is A24 going to get the rights to this film and
I am so here for
make
that.
a Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I would be so happy to
Please.
see that.
The latest,
Um,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that came out was in 2022.
22. Okay, I thought it was
Mhm.
23.
Uh,
But yeah, it's a Legendary Pictures is who made it.
I think the best hands for this to end up in, though, like you said, would be A24.
Oh, that
Oh,
or Neon. Neon would do
okay.
amazing things with it too.
What is I'm not
Speaking
super
of
familiar
his.
with the name. What has Neon done?
Stand by as I Google this real quick because it's been a second. They did the monkey. I remember
Oh,
that.
okay. I still haven't seen that yet. I have to see
Um,
that. That's what you've just watched recently, right?
yeah, yeah. Neon movies. I'm sorry, as I
No, no,
try to
no. I'm
figure
sorry to
out.
spring that on you. I
No,
just
it's okay.
off the top of my head.
Parasite, Long Legs,
Oh,
Ferrari, I, Tonya,
Long Legs was almost good.
Infinity Pool.
Okay.
Dude, have you seen Infinity Pool? Infinity Pool was the Triangle of
No.
Sadness? Bruh. Bruh. Yeah, all right. Neon. Neon. Yes.
Okay. I got
All
some
right.
homework to do then.
Yeah. I will send you a text with those
Okay.
two, Infinity Pool and Triangle of Sadness. If you haven't seen those, recommend. Recommend those. They're
Definitely put those
weird,
on my list.
but it's a good weird. Just gonna preference that.
Okay.
Um, But something that came out like 5 days ago is Happy Gilmore 2. We had a trailer finally drop, kind of like a teaser trailer. And you hear Adam Sandler, talking about the greats of like the
He's
I
passing
wanted
like
to say
some,
hockey,
is it some
but
like statue bus he's walking by?
yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
golf, the
Yeah.
greats of the golf, and
Yes. Yeah.
he says Tiger Woods, and then he lends on the last one, which is his face, and he's like SpongeBob, like,
Because his
so
teeth.
yeah, because he's got like the buck teeth, and it looks great. Like he's reaccomplishing back in his happy place,
Oh.
um and he like you see his wife in it, and like she's like, I want to see the Happy Gilmore that I fell in love with, and um how we're not done with like golf yet, and it seems like a coming of age, like reaccomplishing, like even when you think you're done with the hobby, maybe you're not, kind of like beauty to it, and I really like that. That's how it was, and then you see him at the end where he's like a Dick's Sporting Goods, and they have those like golf simulators, and he like swings it, and he's like, for real this time, I'm gonna hit it with everything I got, and he like hits it, and there's like a giant hole that like cracks in the screen, and he's like, I am so sorry, and then it's like dead silent, and then everyone starts cheering. Yeah.
Yeah. More and more we see of this, the more I'm actually getting excited to watch this. At
I
first, I was
mean,
like,
it's a,
"Yeah, I'll watch it," and I love the
yeah.
first one, but then, I'm like, "Yeah, I'll watch it when it comes out." But like more we
Hmm.
get to see, I'm like, I'm ready to see this.
Yeah, July 25th is just so close, so close.
So close.
But something else that Adam Sandler is in is Meet the Parents. They are making a number four. We talked about it, and how Adam Sandler and Robert De Niro,
Yeah,
De
Ben
Niro,
Stiller
Ben Stiller.
and
It
Robert De
is Ben
Niro.
Stiller.
Yeah.
Shit.
Nope,
My
you're good.
bad. Ben Stiller is in Happy Gilmore, though. We did see
Yes, yeah.
a
I knew
clip of
that's
him.
where they were.
Okay,
Yeah.
my brain. I'm sorry, guys, but in the trailer of Happy Gilmore 2, you do see Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller is in Meet the Parents. Um, but Meet the Parents 4 is happening. Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro um, are both like reprising their roles. And John Hamburg was who is on the screen just now as the guy on the left.
Mhm.
Um, yes, and he's actually set to direct it. So he is the writer for Meet the Parents, and he's doing Meet the Parents 4 as well. But he's written all of the Meet the Parents. He did
Okay.
the writing also for Zoolander and Night School. Um, Great
Well, him and Ben
movies.
Stiller's used to working many times together.
Yes, and he also works a lot with like Kevin Hart. So
Okay.
maybe Kevin Hart's gonna play like a cameo
Very
in this. Is
possible.
kind of like where I'm like leaning. But
I'd be
I
down for that.
yeah, right? Like it sounds like it would be hilarious. I think that would be good. And I didn't really have many expectations, and I still don't have any
Yeah.
expectations for Meet the Parents 4, let me be honest. But
It's one of
um
those things where I feel like they're milking out.
yeah.
We never expected a fourth one, but let's be real. If it comes out, we're gonna watch it
Yeah,
on
eventually when it
streaming.
comes to like
Yeah,
streaming. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
this is one of those. I don't know if it'll even get a theatrical release. It may come straight to streaming as well. Just kind of like how Netflix is doing Happy Gilmore 2. I mean, that's not even getting a theatrical release, right?
Yeah, but Happy Gilmore was always just no, I don't even think Happy Gilmore 1 had a theatrical
It
release.
did.
It did?
I think so. I could be wrong, but I think it did.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. But guess some news this week for gaming.
Yeah. All right, so this past Thursday, a little game that like some people play is called Assassin's Creed Shadows, and they came out with it on Thursday, and within that first 24 hours of that launch day, 1 million people hit it. Actually ended up like playing the game.
Oh wow.
And for like some reference, Ubisoft is the one that made this game, but they also made a game called Dragon Age, the Veilguard that came out last year, kind of like in the middle of the year, I think in like July. I could be wrong about that, but it
Hmm.
only hit 70,000 on their launch day. So
Big difference.
It is a big difference, and Ubisoft did come out with like all of the Star Wars games that kind of have been flopping.
Hmm.
Um, so like people are like saying that Ubisoft is back, and like Assassin's Creed has been a series of games that's been happening for a while. So it's good to see that like video games are
Damn
like
it! I want
accomplishing
my
that.
damn Assassin's Creed second movie. Is what I want. Did you watch the first one with Michael Fassbender?
I didn't even know there was a first one. No.
Yeah, so people there's some people who like it, there's some people who hate it. I personally liked it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like I don't know all the storylines and all the in-depth stuff of Assassin's Creed, but
Mm,
Michael Fassbender is the main actor in this, and I personally loved it.
okay.
I don't know if it's 100% true, is why some people didn't love it to the game and stuff, but
Mm,
it left you hanging at the end of it for a second one to definitely take place, and
okay.
never happened. I don't think it made
Hmm.
enough money. I'm very sad about that.
Oh yeah, Erica's in the comments and she said she absolutely loved that movie. So
It's good. I would love to hear your thoughts on it if you ever watched it, because Michael
okay.
Fassbender is a great actor as well, but I just
Oh
thought
yeah, no, I
the whole
love him.
concept of the movie was really good, and, like, when things really start get rolling with the whole Assassin's Creed program,
Hmm.
it's when it ends, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
I never could get into Assassin's Creed. I did get one of the games and I did play probably about 10 minutes of it and I was like,
Mhm.
this isn't the game for me because I had to be a sneaky
Gotcha.
boy and I'm not about being a sneaky boy. I want to get out there
Zara!
out front. Yes, if I'm going to have to play a fighter in a game, I want to be able to get out there and throw my hands.
Right.
Um, but like I was having to like sneak around buildings and then like have to like drag people out and I was just like
Hmm. I wanna
this
get the job
isn't the
done,
type
and
of
I wanna get it
gameplay.
done now.
Right. No, 100%. That is the thing. And Erica said that she watched other people play it and just couldn't play it because of her anxiety. And I get that. Like it definitely makes you sweat when you
Mm,
play it. But like right now my game is Monster Hunter because I can go out there and just fuck up monsters and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get out there and like test out your weapons and your armor sets and stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. There was a showcase for it's called like Future Game Show.
mhm,
And they have a spring showcase. So they have a spring showcase and they have a summer showcase. So this one debuted back on the 20th, so just a couple of days ago. If you guys haven't heard about it, it's something that I haven't heard about before either. But they had a whole bunch of games that just like debuted.
hmm.
Or not just debuting games of like the first time that you're hearing about it, but also some gameplay and like different trailers and stuff that go along with games that come out. So the first one I want to talk about is Frosthaven. Frosthaven is a tabletop board game that has been like super popular with like kind of people that do D&D type stuff, but it's more like it kind of like limits more of what you can do. But
Mhm.
if you want to get into tabletop gaming, like this is something that you can do. Is there's a Gloomhaven and there's a Frosthaven,
Hmm.
and now they're making Frosthaven into a video game, so people on PC can play with other people on PC and kind of get more
So it's like
word out there.
digital
Go for it.
tabletop gaming is what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if you've ever played Baldur's Gate, I assume it's kind of like that. I still haven't played Baldur's Gate, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest. But I've heard that Baldur's Gate is a lot like D&D, and
Okay.
this is a strictly like tabletop like game that they are making into um a video game. It's from the same publisher as Remnant 2, and the graphics look absolutely amazing. They had a kind of teaser trailer that debuted. So if you go up on YouTube and you find if you just type in Frosthaven,
Mhm.
you'll find it in like 5 seconds. Graphics look absolutely beautiful. And if you've ever played Remnant 2, it checks because Remnant 2, the graphics are very nice as well.
Nice.
That is a game that I have played. Um, the next game I want to talk about is Cloudheim. So this is a co-op focused action role-playing game. It's from a new kind of um, company. It's called Noodle Cat Games. Um, and this is supposed to come out in 2025, strictly to PC as well. During the showcase, they showed a trailer about the different combat moves that you can do. There are 4 different types of like people that you can play for your like action role playing game type stuff. And it's like a brawler or whatever, but they have specific names for it. But also the artwork looks absolutely beautiful for this as well. Something else that they showed during the showcase was Chronos, the New Dawn. So this is a upcoming horror game that's from Bloober Team. So they're the same publisher and developer of the Blair Witch game that came out in 2019. And it's like from like Poland like developers, I want to say, because they do have kind of like an accent when they like talk about the game. But the game itself does take place in Poland. It's a 1980s alternate reality type game of a apocalypse that happened in the 1980s.
Okay.
And you kind of like in the trailer itself, you get to see some gameplay of the game itself,
Is there
and
any jump scare stuff in it?
it looks like one of those.
Does
It does look like it's supposed to be like a survivor horror type game.
Okay.
But again, graphics look absolutely amazing if that's something that you're into. And the last game that I want to talk about, again, there are a bajillion things that they debuted in this showcase. So if you haven't seen it, like go check it out. If you're like looking for a new game, there are a lot of new games coming out. But the last one I want to talk about is Mandragora is where I want to say that we're gonna call it. Whispers the Witch Tree. Whispers of the Witch Tree, sorry. And
Looks
so
interesting.
this is it kind of looks a lot like a Dark Souls type game, but it's like kind of more 2D rather than 3D. And what I mean by that, it's kind of like a side-scrolling type game where like your screen stays here and it just like your people like kind of just like walk by.
Hmm.
But it's inspired by Dark Souls. It's coming out on April 17th, 2025, and the trailer that they dropped, it looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. I can't do Dark Souls because I would get frustrated with that game.
Oh,
I already
really?
know where I'm at.
Why would
Um,
you get frustrated with it?
so like there are bosses, and it's the same reason why I can only play like God of War in little stints is because like if I play it for too long a period of time, I'm going
Uh,
to probably break my controller because I will get frustrated
ooh,
with the game,
gotcha.
and I will what I've been doing is I do get frustrated with games, but I'll just like save and exit the game and I'll go play a different game.
Mhm.
So I have like 3 games that I am playing right now. So Monster Hunter, Lego, because I beat Lego Hobbit and I got 100%. Now I'm playing Lego Superheroes too. And Destiny. So if I'm getting frustrated with Monster Hunter, like I did last night, I just stop playing it and I play a different game. But I know that Dark Souls would get me more irritated faster.
Mhm.
So I don't want to fuck with it. Um, but this game looks beautiful. It's like I said, it's coming out on April 17th, and it's $40. And
Oh,
it's
that's not
coming
a
out
bad
on
price.
all the different platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So yeah, but
Heck yeah,
that's it for gaming news. You got some con news you want to talk about?
we do.
Let's go.
So this con spotlight, a little different, a little more special for us, but it's going to be Big River Comic Con. It's going to be in Hannibal, Missouri, March 28th and 29th, and we'll be attending it. This will be Fundamentals'
What?
first Comic Con attending,
Mhm.
and yeah, the celebrities that will be there will be David Ankrum, known from Rogue One, the original Star Wars trilogy. He's a voice actor that did Wedge Antilles. He's known from some other stuff as well. And then someone who we've had on the show will be Spencer Wilding, who played Darth Vader in Rogue One, and then also has been in
Mhm.
Harry Potter, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, Dungeons and Dragons, and the upcoming
So many.
Toxic Avenger.
Yes.
And then we have the $1 Million Man, uh, big old time wrestler. That's going to be there as well. Not super familiar with the wrestling scene, but there's a lot of people who love this guy and are super excited to see him. And then we also have Tom, the artist, who is currently working a lot with DC. Um, he's also worked with Marvel and a whole bunch of other comic brands. So yeah, pretty good lineup.
Yeah, he's
And
he's selling comics actually at
mhm.
where he'll be at. I think they're like $10 or something.
Yeah, he
So
actively travels a lot of cons and he's heavily involved. I think he's been heavily involved in a lot of things. I want to say Image or Dark Horse. He was super. He did a lot for, but I think right now like he does a lot of DC comics. But
mhm.
I see him on so many like of these cons that we look up and we see all the celebrity guests. I see his name come across them all the time. So but, one of the panels that will be going on that weekend is we will be doing a live episode, or with a live audience. So that's exciting. And then we also are, doing a panel with Spencer Wilding and hosting that celebrity panel and get to talk to him. And hopefully we get to talk a lot more about Toxic Avenger, which, he spoke about last time he was on our show. And we didn't know then if it was ever going to get released to the public. And since then, we found out it is. We now
You
have a
spoke it
teaser
into
trailer.
existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think we specifically said, "Let's speak this into happening on the internet." Then
Yes.
here we are. So, uh, that's actually kinda cool. I'm not saying that, it's because of us, but it was. But yeah, we left our footprint on this planet. No. But and then another thing is they will be doing a sketch battle who we've talked about. I really love sketch battles. And funny enough, I was asked to be in the sketch battle, and I will be going up against the owner of the Con Deb in the sketch battle on stage as
Oh,
well. So
okay.
yeah, so that ought to be fun. But that's next weekend. So look forward to
Yeah.
that. We'll have plenty of pictures and video footage and all kinds of stuff to share with everybody.
It's
So
gonna be a hoot.
yes, for real,
It
for real.
always is.
Super excited.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that kinda wraps us up for this week. Is there anything else, you wanna add, or we've pretty much hit
No,
everything? Yeah,
yeah, everything's been hit and I can't wait. I'm so
I love doing
excited.
our lives. So,
Yeah. Thank
but,
you for
alright.
everybody that tuned in.
Yeah, we'll catch
See you guys
everybody next
later.
time.
Peace.